Only the people were burning incense at the high places, because until now a house had not been built for the name of the Lord. And Solomon loved the Lord, to walk in the ordinances of his father David. Only he would sacrifice and offer incense at the high places. And he arose and went to Gabaon to sacrifice there, for this was the highest ground and great. Solomon offered 1,000 whole burnt offerings on the altar at Gabaon. And the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night. And the Lord said to Solomon, Request some request for yourself. And Solomon said, You did great mercy with your slave, my father David, as he passed through before you in truth and in righteousness and in uprightness of heart with you. And you have kept for him this great mercy, to give his son on his throne as this day. And now, O Lord my God, you gave your slave in place of my father David, and I am a little lad, and I do not know my going out and my coming in. But your slave is in the midst of your people, whom you chose, a large people who shall not be counted. And you shall give your slave a heart to hear, and to judge your people in righteousness, to discern between good and evil. For who will be able to judge this your weighty people? And it was pleasing before the Lord that Solomon requested this thing. And the Lord said to him, Because you requested this thing from me, and did not request for yourself many days, and did not request riches, and did not request lives of your enemies, but requested for yourself understanding to listen to judgment. Behold, I have done according to your word. Behold, I have given you a prudent and wise heart. Like you there has not been before you, and after you there shall not arise similar to you. And I have given you what you did not request, both riches and honor. There has not been a man like you among kings, and if you walk in my way, to keep my commandments and my ordinances as your father David walked, I will also lengthen your days. And Solomon awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And he arose and came to Jerusalem, and stood facing the altar which is before the ark of the covenant of the Lord in Zion, and offered up whole burnt offerings, and made peace offerings, and made a great feast for himself and all his servants. Then 2 women, prostitutes, appeared before the king and stood before him. And the one woman said, With regard to me, my lord, this woman and I, we live in one house, and we gave birth in the house. And it happened on the 3rd day after I gave birth, that this woman also gave birth, and we were together, and there was no one else with us besides both of us in the house. And this woman's son died in the night, as she lay on him. And she got up in the middle of the night, and took my son from my arms, and laid him in her bosom, and laid her dead son in my bosom. And I arose in the morning to nurse my son, and that one was dead. And behold, I looked at him closely in the morning, and behold, it was not my son whom I had borne. And the other woman said, No, but the living son is mine, but the dead son is yours. And they spoke before the king. And the king said to them, You say, This is my son that is alive, and this woman's son is the dead one. And you say, Not so, but my son is the living one, and your son is the dead one. And the king said, Take a dagger from me. And they brought the dagger before the king. And the king said, Divide the living boy, the suckling, in 2, and give the half of it to this woman, and the half of it to this woman. And the woman whose was the living son answered and said to the king, Because her womb was troubled over her son, and she said, With regard to me, my lord, give her the boy, and by death do not put him to death. And this woman said, Let it be neither mine nor yours, divide it. And the king answered and said, Give the boy to the one who said, Give it to her, and by death do not put him to death. She is the mother. And all Israel heard this judgment that the king judged, and they stood in awe from before the king, because they perceived that divine discernment was in him to execute judgment. And King Solomon was ruling over Israel, and these were the rulers who were his: Azariah son of Zadok, and Elireph, and Achiah son of Saba, secretaries, and Josaphat son of Achiled, recorder, and Saduk and Abiathar, priests, and Orniah son of Nathan, over the officials, and Zabuth son of Nathan, the king's companion, and Achiel steward, and Eliab son of Zaph over the paternal family, and Adoniram son of Ephraim over the levy. And Solomon had 12 appointed over all Israel to provide for the king and his household. It would be that for 1 month in the year the one would provide. And these are their names: Benor in the hill country of Ephraim, 1. Son of Rechab, in Machemas, and Bethlehem, and Beth-Samus, and Ilon as far as Beth-Anan, 1. Son of Esath bare Bethnema, Lusamenka, and Risphara, Kinadab and Anaphathi, a man of Tableth. His wife was a daughter of Solomon, 1. Bakah, son of Achiled, Tanakh, and Mekedo, and all the house of Son, which is beside Sesathon, below the Ezrai, and from Bisafud, Ebelmawah, as far as Miber-Lukam, 1. Son of Gaber in Ramoth Gilead, and to this the allotment Ergaba, which is in Bashan, 60 great cities with walls and bronze bars, 1. Achinadab, son of Akel Manaim, 1. Achimas in Naphtali, and he took Basemoth, Solomon's daughter, as wife, 1. Banah, son of Cusi in Miloth, 1. Samah, son of Elah in Benjamin, Gaber, son of Adai in the land of Gad, the land of King Sihon of Heshbon, and of King Og of Bashan, and 1 Nasif in the land of Judah, Josaphat, son of Fasud in Issachar. And thus the officials would supply provisions for King Solomon, and everything ordered for the table of the king, each one in his month. They did not alter a thing. And they also used to bring to the place where the king might be barley and straw for the horses and the chariots, each according to his charge. And these were Solomon's provisions for 1 day: 30 cores of choice flour, and 60 cores of ground meal, and 10 choice calves, and 20 pasture-fed oxen, and 100 sheep, besides deer and gazelles and choice birds, grain-fed. For he was ruler across the river, and he was at peace on all sides round about. And the Lord gave Solomon discernment and very great wisdom, and volume of mind, like the sand that is by the sea. And Solomon was greatly multiplied, above the discernment of all ancient people, and above all the discerning of Egypt. And he was wise beyond all humans. He was wise beyond Gaithon the Ezraite, and Haimon, and Kalkal, and Darda, sons of Mal. And Solomon spoke 3,000 illustrations, and his songs were 5,000. And he spoke of trees, from the cedar that is in Lebanon, and as far as the hyssop that comes out through the wall. And he spoke of animals, and of birds, and of reptiles, and of fish. And all the people used to come to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and he would receive gifts from all the kings of the earth, who were hearing of his wisdom. And Solomon took the daughter of Pharaoh for himself for a wife, and brought her into the city of David, until he finished the house of the Lord, and his own house, and the wall of Jerusalem. Then Pharaoh king of Egypt went up and captured Gazer, and burned it, and the Canaanite who lived in Mergab. And Pharaoh gave them as send-off to his daughter, Solomon's wife, and Solomon built Gazer. And King Hiram of Tyre sent his servants to anoint Solomon in place of his father David, for Hiram had affection for David all the days. And Solomon sent to Hiram, saying, You know my father David, that he could not build a house for the name of the Lord my God, from the presence of the wars that surrounded him, until the Lord put them under the traces of his feet. And now the Lord my God gave me rest all around. There is no plotter, and there is no evil encounter. And behold, I intend to build a house for the name of the Lord my God, as the Lord God spoke to my father David, saying, Your son, whom I will give on your throne in your place, this one shall build the house for my name. And now command, and let them cut timber from Lebanon for me. And behold, my slaves are with your slaves, and I will give you the wages of your services, according to all that you say. For you know that we have no one who knows how to cut timber like the Sidonians. And it happened, when Hiram heard the words of Solomon, he rejoiced greatly and said, Blessed be God today, who gave to David a discerning son over this numerous people. And he sent to Solomon, saying, I have heard concerning all that you sent to me. I will do your every wish, cedar, timber, and pine. My slaves shall bring them down to the sea from Lebanon, and I will make them rafts to the place that you indicate to me, and I will have them broken up there, and you will take them away, and you shall do my wish by providing food for my household. And Hiram was giving Solomon cedars and his every wish. And Solomon in turn gave Hiram 20,000 cores of wheat, and machir for his household, and 20,000 beth of beaten oil. Like this Solomon would give to Hiram yearly. And the Lord gave Solomon wisdom, as he spoke to him, and there was peace between Hiram and Solomon, and they made a covenant between themselves. And the king raised a levy out of all Israel, and the levy was 30,000 men, and he sent them to Lebanon, 10,000 a month alternating. They were a month in Lebanon, and 2 months in their home, and Adoniram was in charge of the levy. And Solomon had 70,000 bearing a burden, and 80,000 stonecutters in the hill country, besides the rulers appointed over Solomon's works, 3,600 supervisors who managed the works. And for 3 years they prepared the stones and the wood. And it happened in the 440th year of the departure of the sons of Israel from Egypt, in the 4th year, in the 2nd month, when King Solomon reigned over Israel, that the king commanded, and they took great costly stones for the foundation of the house, and unhewn stones. And the sons of Solomon and the sons of Hiram hewed and laid them. In the 4th year he laid the foundation of the house of the Lord, in the month Niso, the 2nd month. In the 11th year in the month Baal, this is the 8th month, the house was finished in all its plan, and in all its arrangement. And the house that King Solomon built for the Lord, 40 cubits in length, and 20 its width, in cubits, and 25 its height in cubits. For the Elam in front of the shrine, 20 its width in cubits, for the width of the house, and 10 its depth in cubits in front of the house. And he built the house and finished it. And for the house he made hidden peep windows, and he placed beams on the wall of the house all around the shrine and the debir. And he made sides all around, the lower side 5 cubits its width, and the middle 6, and the third 7, its width in cubits. He gave the house a space all around, outside the house, in order that they should not lay hold of the walls of the house. And the house while it was being built was built with rough, unworked stones. Neither hammer nor axe nor any tool of iron was heard in the house while it was being built. And the gateway of the lower side was under the right shoulder of the house, and there was a winding ascent into the middle, and from the middle to the 3rd story. And he built the house and finished it. And he made a coffered ceiling for the house from cedars. And he built the bondings through the whole house, its height 5 in cubits, and he enclosed the bonding with cedar boards. And he built the walls of the house with cedar boards from the floor of the house, and as far as the rafters into the walls. He made a coffered ceiling enclosed with boards within, and he covered the inside of the house with sides of pine. And he built the 20 cubits from the top of the house, the one side from the floor to the rafters, and he made from the debir to the Holy of Holies. And the shrine was 40 cubits in front of the debir, in the midst of the house within, to set there the ark of the covenant of the Lord. The length 20 cubits, and 20 cubits the width, and 20 cubits its height. And he covered it with overlaid gold. And he made an altar in front of the debir, and overlaid it with gold. And he overlaid the whole house with gold, until the completion of all the house. And in the debir he made 2 cherubim of 10 cubits measured size, and 5 cubits the wing of the one cherub, and 5 cubits its second wing, and from the tip of its wing to the tip of its wing 10 in cubits. Thus it was with the second cherub, with one measure, one completion for both. And the height of the one cherub 10 in cubits, and so the second cherub. And both the cherubim were in the midst of the innermost house, and he spread out their wings, and one wing was touching the wall, and a wing of the second was touching the wall. And their other wings, which were in the midst of the house, were touching wing to wing. And he overlaid the cherubim with gold. And with a stylus he inscribed all the walls of the house round about, with engraved cherubim, and the inner and the outer had palm trees, And the floor of the house was overlaid with gold, of the innermost and of the outermost. And for the doorway of the debir he made doors of juniper wood, and a 5-sided lintel, and 2 doors of pine boards, and carved on them carved cherubim, and palm trees and open flower leaves. And he overlaid with gold, and the gold went down on the cherubim and on the palm trees. And thus he made for the gateway to the shrine lintels of juniper, 4-sided porticos, and pine boards in both the doors. The one door 2 leaves, and their hinges, and the second door 2 leaves hinged, carved cherubim and palm trees and open flower leaves, and overlaid with gold brought down upon the relief work. And he built the inner court, 3 courses of unhewn stones, and a course of prepared cedar round about. And he built the veil of the court of the Ilam of the house, which is before the shrine.